Welcome to How to Sketch Sine and Cosine Graphs. Today our equation is y equals -2 secant of 10x minus pi over 2 plus 1. The first thing you want to do is to identify the amplitude, A, and the period, P. This is because the amplitude sets how high our graph will go, and the period helps figure out our first and second key points of the graph. To find the amplitude, we are going to need to label parts in our equation right here. This is the A, and this will be, well, B. One extra thing to note is that the amplitude is always positive. So the amplitude here, instead of being -2, would be 2 down. And for the period, you're going to need to use the formula 2 pi over b. Now our b is 10, so it would be 2 pi over 10. Now simplified 2 pi over 10 would just equal pi over 5. So our period here is pi over 5. This is where you will need to draw your graph. And now it's time to label our points. Now our first period would be pi over 5. So that would go in directly in the middle on the fourth mark. And after that, we would want to get the rest of the points by multiplying our period by 1/4. This would give us pi over 20, which gives us our first mark. Next, all you gotta do is remove the pi and realize that it's 1 over 20 and just go 2 over 20, 3 over 20, 4 over 20, and simplify and add the pi's back. So 1 over 20 would just be pi over 20. 2 pi over 20 would just be pi over 10. 3 pi over 20 cannot be simplified, so it would stay 3 pi over 20. And so on until you've got all the marks down. Now I actually messed up here because 5 pi over 20 can actually be simplified into pi over 4. So that's actually wrong, and I'm sorry. It's important to remember that when graphing these graphs, secant is cosine and cosecant is sine. When graphing a sine graph, you would start at the origin, which is where the x and y axis meet, right here. And when graphing a cosine graph, you will start at wherever the A is. So, for example, if the A is -2, that is where your first point would be, at -2. And since this isn't our final graph, we will dot the lines in. Next, we take out our entire equation from the parentheses, which is 10x minus pi over 2. This is because it's our horizontal shift, and then we set it equal to 0 and solve. This gives us our answer, pi over 20. This is where our next graph will start, but since this is a secant or cosine equation, it still starts at our amplitude, which is -2. Then follow the same rules as the first one and graph. Then, as you can see, the graph isn't as long enough, which is why I extended the equation and the graph by 1 space. And since we're still not done, you dot the lines in. Next, we will take our last part of our equation, which is +1, our vertical shift, and based on our horizontal shift, dot in our points, one above the points of our horizontal shift. And since we're still not done, we dot the lines in. Now we draw in our asymptotes, which is every time our horizontal shift crosses the x-axis. And since we're still not done, we dot the lines in. And lastly, for our parabolas, we go ahead and base those off of our vertical shift, and we just draw a line opposite of the way they are going. As you can see, our vertical shift is drawn in red here, and our horizontal shift is drawn in blue. And the rule is that there should always be 4 parabolas. So if there's only 3, we use the endpoints of our extended line, as shown, as half the parabola, which together make one whole parabola. And since this is the end, you can finally draw the line in instead of dotting it in.